Because you know what I would have done?
Unplug that fan in my room, Naya.
Excuse me, Miss Williams.
Is this the judge I'm speaking with?
Yes, it is. That's what the robe is.
Ms. Boyd?
Yes.
How are you related to Uriah?
I'm his mother.
And how old is Uriah?
26. Oh God.
I follow the plea bargain and perhaps give him 3 years. Just,
From reckless decisions to these idiot choices, everyone came with a price. This is the top foolish defendants who face Judge Boyd in court.
Oh my gosh. Somebody's messing with the fan. You want to call your client as a witness to explain?
yes.
Could you raise your right hand for me?
Raise your hand.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? You can lower your hand, state your name for the record. State your name for the record. All right, why didn't you show up for court?
Because I have some problems.
We all have problems, but you're not telling me what your problems were.
Well, first of all, my daughter had her baby, but I came up with I was sick soon, so my corona.
Everybody used coronavirus as an excuse, but did you provide any medical documentation that you had that?
Yeah, I do. I have that.
No. Did you provide any medical documentation to the court that you were ill?
I think I did. I should have. Do you have any?
I do not. Not for the date you're addressing, Judge.
Yes. So you did not, because if you would have, I would have that, and I don't have it.
So you don't have any paperwork at all?
I don't have anything to show that you were ill, and that's the reason why you didn't show up for your sentencing. I do have that I was lenient with you to allow you to get your affairs in order and to come back on a different date for sentencing. That's what I have. So why shouldn't I sentence you to beyond the 2 years? Because that's your agreement. Your agreement is if you don't show up for sentencing, you are subject to the full range of punishment. So my question to you is, why shouldn't I sentence you to 20 years?
Say that again, please.
Your agreement was that if you did not show up for your sentencing date, that your range of punishment would be up to 20 years in prison. You did not show up. So the question is, why shouldn't I send you to prison for 20 years?
I most definitely didn't understand that one.
No, you did, because it's a part of your plea bargaining agreement. And what I can tell you, and I'm sure your counsel will tell you this, and even though this is a new prosecutor to this court, I go over the plea bargaining agreement in great detail and ask on the record, do you understand that to be the plea bargaining agreement? And usually, well, not usually, every time I ask the defendant first, do you understand that to be the plea bargaining agreement? And they will say yes. Then I will either ask the state of the defense attorney, is that the plea bargaining agreement? And I can tell you that you were aware that you were subject to the entire range of punishment. So we're back to this. Why shouldn't I sentence you to 20 years? Because that was your bargain, that if you didn't show up for court, that you will be subject to the full range of punishment. And I remember all of the people who say, give me some extra time and I will show up.
What was going on with your daughter?
Yeah, I mean, she had a baby next month or whatever, you know what I mean? But I don't think.
What do you mean she has her baby next month? You told me she already had the baby.
No. She went in the hospital. She was sick. I thought that she wasn't gonna even, that she was gonna lose the baby or whatever, you know what I mean?
And when did this happen?
Like last month.
All right, so that happened last month. So that would have been January. So that still doesn't explain why you didn't show up for your sentencing on November. You were set for sentencing on November 3rd. Here's the thing. Sometimes people don't have an excuse. Sometimes it's like, I made a bad decision. I was enjoying my free life out here and I just didn't show up. So I'm trying to figure out, is that your case or is there something else that was going on in your life? Because you're looking at 20 years in prison.
That he doesn't have an excuse that we want to offer at this time. He does. I mean, I agree with the court. You did admonish him. He understood that. I'm concerned. I mean, as we stand here today, he's not near as cognizant of I've dealt with as he's been in the past. I'm somewhat concerned about that, but I mean, he's not a man of means. When that November date came, his phone was cut off. We were not able to locate him. I mean, he didn't. I mean, I know I spoke to him after that when his daughter was sick. But we'd ask you not to sentence him to 20 years. We don't think that's, we hope that that's not what the court decides to do. But if the court decides, we ask the court to follow the plea bargain and perhaps give him 3 years. Just, I've been indicated that the court takes this seriously and.
All right, state.
In lieu of the explanation of the judge, the state, with previous negotiations that they have in our file, we believe the appropriate sentence would be 5 years.
All right, this is what the court is going to do. The court will sentence you to 4 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served, take in consideration 2021 CR 2207, 2021 CR 1465, 2021 CR 2771. The court will give you credit for any time served. There's a $500 fine. Time and money will run concurrent. I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
That's your signature.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to your attorney. Do you understand? We can go off the record. Mr. Carroll, I always, when attorneys say, can you give my client some extra time to report? Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But I take it very seriously when I give someone time to report. Because when you think about it, somebody's saying, all right, I'm going to show up and I'm going to take my prison sentence. You didn't show up. And that's a problem. And if there would have been a good explanation, things may have turned out differently.
I don't even remember even.
All right, so you can have him have a seat. They're supposed to impact. There's not.
No,
All right, thank you.
Yeah, Judge, sorry. We're just going to go ahead and surpass that because.
All right, thank you. And then there's a request for no broadcasting. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right. So the court has read the defense's motion, and what I can tell the defense is, number one, the court limits the number of people in the courtroom for security reasons, also for health reasons. I think everybody is aware of the brawl, for want of a better word, brawl, skirmish, or whatever that occurred in the other courtroom. As everybody is aware, there are only a limited number of deputies. I have 2 deputies in this courtroom, and we almost had another incident here today that I think would have turned quite differently if the courtroom were packed. The court must have an open courtroom to the public, and that is how the courtroom is keeping it open to the public. So I read your motion, and that motion is denied.
Your Honor, may I make a little bit of a record on that?
Sure.
Okay. And so Ms. Schnitz has some specific things that have affected her as a result of the broadcast over YouTube. And specifically, Your Honor, the open courts, one, we don't think that you need to close the courtroom to non-participants. So we object to the closing of the courtroom which we were just made aware of this morning. So we have that objection. We think the courtroom should be open to live audience members. Ms. Schnitz is in a very particular situation. She's in a custody battle at the time, currently, and her ex-husband monitors these YouTube videos. He saves them and broadcasts her information to her friends and family and uses it in her child custody case. Additionally, Your Honor, sorry, I'm going to have Ms. Schnitz speak to that if she could.
Sure. Can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes,
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Shali Schnitz.
All right, thank you. You may question.
Are you concerned about being broadcast on YouTube?
Yes, I'm very concerned.
And can you tell the court why?
I'm very concerned because my ex-husband, the husband of my daughter, who is,
I'm sorry, the father of your daughter?
oh, the father, I'm sorry, has been, he is being investigated currently for abuse of her sexual assault and numerous counts, a very, very serious situation. And he is using the YouTube videos, and he's explained that in emails to watch what is happening on court to find the location of my daughter. And I'm sorry.
So also, he would come in person before, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And now he knows where you are because he can watch the broadcast. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh.
I mean, yes, sir.
Okay. And when you additionally, you've had to talk about your treatment situation. You're addressing your alcohol issue. We've had to do that in open court previously. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And has he recorded those to your knowledge?
Yes, he records those as well.
And he lets other people know who are involved in your case?
Yes, he lets over 20 people know and places it on social media and sends it out.
Okay, and that's everywhere from Governor Abbott to Joe Gonzalez to everybody that is also the principal of your daughter's school. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so at this point, you're left with a choice of either terminating these proceedings by entering a guilty plea or continuing to be broadcast on YouTube.
Yes,
Okay, and that's the choice that you're currently facing. Is that right?
yes.
All right. Do you want to be broadcast on YouTube?
No, sir. It's very scary for me, terrifying.
No, that's all right. I have no further
Any
questions.
questions?
Nothing to say, Judge.
All right, and the court will state again, everyone is aware of the brawl, skirmish, whatever you want to call it, that took place in this courthouse recently. No less than, I think, 10 deputies or maybe more were summoned. There was a fight in the jury box where audience members came from the audience and attacked someone, and I will use the word allegedly, but I think everybody is aware of it. An inmate that was in the box. We just had what could have been a bad incident in this court today, where deputies had to step in and escort somebody out of this courtroom. This is a court that needs to be open to the public. I am not going to allow people in the courtroom for safety reasons. I'm not allowing people in the courtroom unless they are a defendant, a person accused, or unless they are a witness, and those witnesses will be brought in when they are needed. The state will tell you, and other persons in this courtroom will tell you, anyone who is given victim impact, they can come in when it's time for them to give victim impact. But that is the way this courtroom will be run. So for security issues, we only have 2 deputies in a courtroom, and we have a third, I'm sorry, sort of a third. And I say third because he's wearing his jacket, right? But he's not assigned to this courtroom. So when you think about it, right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people in the box. And really normally only 2 deputies. And sometimes we have 10 people in the box. So the motion is denied. And we're going to come back
Your Honor,
on December 12th.
just one other question. Could you admonish people not to record the broadcast?
Oh, people, I am not in charge of broadcasting.
But so what
So-
happens is people will capture, like they'll capture this event, they'll put it on other platforms.
And what I can tell you, counsel, is in this courtroom with your client, I have never asked, nobody's ever asked, if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. Nobody's ever asked what school her child is at or asked any of that nature. With regards to a civil case, that's something that needs to be addressed civilly. This is a criminal court.
But what happens, Your Honor, and the problem is that this is now, the YouTube broadcast is as much an official record as the court reporters.
No, it's
Trans-
not. The court reporter's record is the official record. I made my ruling. You all are coming back on December 12th. On December 12th, I expect everyone to have their discovery in order. If there's more time that's needed to look at a vehicle, let the court know. If there's some issues with the blood, let the court know before the December 12th setting. All right, Ernest Morales.
Thank you, Your Honor. Can we be excused?
Yes, you may be excused after you sign the reset form.
Thank you very much.
You why I loved it. I loved it for Jalen Hurts, and this is why. And I'm no Jalen Hurts fan, all because of the LSU connection, but because the last time they played them, he should have been MVP. To me, MVP should not be based upon who wins. It should be based who's the most valuable player. So I was happy that they won. And if I were a gambler, which I'm not, I would have put my money on that in Vegas, but
I would have put money on that, the Homes would have still not any interceptions.
oh, I would have.
Or.
I mean, I thought at least one, but not like, what do you do, 3?
Niall,
Because you know what I would have done?
unplug that fan in my room, Niall.
Excuse me, Miss Williams. Thank you. So anyway, I would have,
Excuse
I
me.
would have thought it would have. Oh my gosh. You're on mute. Remain on mute until I unmute you. Somebody's messing with the fan. That's what we used to do when we were young children. And Vashon, I'm glad I had a chance to apologize to my grandmother before she passed, because we would walk home from school and she babysat us, right? And you have the box fan in the window. We would stand in front of it like we smelled so great. She never said, y'all smell bad, but there's a schoolhouse smell that you get. It's indescribable. All right, Miss Abrams,
Yes.
on this case,
This is the case where the extension lieutenant, wait, occurred. This is a supplemental report
Mhm.
that was sent in before, the extension.
all right, and this is where 0 has been paid, correct? All right, Miss Williams, you can unmute.
Good morning.
Good morning, how are you doing?
Okay, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. So we have an issue.
Yes, ma'am, I know.
All right, you need to start paying.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I don't have an excuse. I just don't have any work right now. I'm living with my dad. He has dementia. He really doesn't have no one but me and my kids. My mom passed, so it's hard right now.
So here's the thing, my understanding from reading everything is that one, he's receiving SSI. Everybody can't be living off of his benefits. And
He's
you've been
not.
on-
Yes, ma'am.
But you've been on probation since 2018 and
Right.
you paid 0.
Yes, ma'am.
There's no excuse for paying 0.
Yes, ma'am.
So you have to pay something.
Okay. I don't. Is this the judge I'm speaking with,
Yes, it is. That's what the robe is.
Miss Boyd?
Yes.
I was gonna ask you what can I pay to get, because this has been like a burden on me. I know I can't afford $4,000.
Here's the thing, you know what was a burden?
Yes,
And I'm not
ma'am.
trying to be mean.
I
But
understand. No, I understand. Is anything you say, I understand.
yeah, because I mean, the theft of property, that was a burden on somebody. So
Right.
you would have paid something.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be done with this, but you have paid nothing.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's been since 2018.
Well, I was trying to see if my sister,
I'm sorry, see if your sister could do what?
if she can let me borrow like $1,000. I was just telling my other probation officer here in Houston to see if I can pay something to get out, because I know I won't be able to pay 4,000, and I will have to pay her that back.
Mhm. But I mean, you're gonna have to start paying something. And I wasn't the judge who placed you on probation previously. I don't know why somebody hasn't already told you, you need to start paying
Yeah,
something
but
back.
and I also had asked I had asked before the previous time, is there any way that I can like talk to that judge to lower the things, and they told me that wasn't an option.
No, I mean, you have to pay what you owe, and I'm not even. The problem is, I have some people who are on probation, and they paid something, you paid nothing, zero. And that's been zero since 2018.
Okay, so can I ask one question? I only have one.
You can ask many questions.
Okay, because I signed the year extension. If I was to pay something within the year and it don't be the total $4,000, would I be punished then?
I'll consider things, but you need to pay.
Okay.
All right, you need to pay $1,500.
Okay, if I pay $1,500, can I give y'all a call and let you know that the $1,500 is paid
Oh, yes.
and get off?
Well, we'll see once you pay the $1,500.
Okay. Cause I'm gonna try to borrow that from my sister and just try to pay her back in babysitting.
All right, so what I can tell you is, while people are with me on deferred adjudication, I don't allow babysitting. I don't allow them to have employment
No,
with
ma'am, I do hair as well, but it just doesn't bring in. I just started really. I just got a hair school. I just started braiding. It's not bringing in any big money yet, but I do braid hair as well. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, so just so you know, in this court, I don't allow people on probation to be home health care provider or to work with minors.
No, ma'am, I don't do any of that.
All right, probation, is there anything else? All right, thank you.
Miss hello,
Yes,
Miss Boyd. Is this Miss Boyd again?
yes, this is Judge Boyd.
Okay, so Miss Boyd, if she was to let me
This is
borrow
Judge Boyd.
I'm sorry, Judge Boyd. I'm sorry. Excuse me,
Yes.
Judge Boyd. If she was to let me borrow the $1,500, can I then give Miss Fuentes a call?
Oh, you can call whomever. You can call probation.
Okay. Well, I'll try to do that within the week if that's okay.
Yes, that would probably help you a lot.
Okay.
All right, Ms. Abrams, do you need to speak with her?
No,
All right, probation will call you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Y'all have a good day.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Any objections to the witness appearing by Zoom state defense?
No.
All right, could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
All right, you can lower your hand. State your name for the record, please.
Candy Joanne Huffman.
Defense.
Thank you. Ms. Huffman, although I think we can tell by your last name, how are you related to Uriah?
I'm his mother.
And how old is Uriah?
26. Oh God.
Have you not seen Uriah in a while?
No,
Where do you currently?
I also have lupus, and so memory and stuff is a little, I had to think about the math.
I got you. Okay. Where do you currently live at?
I live in Florida,
Can you be a little more specific, at least what county?
Orlando. I live in Orlando.
Uriah, he's originally from Texas, is that right?
Yes, he was born in Dallas.
And Was there a father in his life?
No,
Has he ever known his father?
no, he's never met him. He left, rather I left him when his father, whenever I was 4 months pregnant.
Does your son have a drug problem?
He did.
Okay.
Yeah,
And you say he did, are you talking about the fact that he's been sober since he's been in jail for a year and a half?
yes, I suppose.
Okay, so prior to his arrest, for the offenses that brings him here today, how bad would you say Uriah's drug use was?
I would say probably pretty bad. As far as what I was aware, he was always high.
Did he choose to be homeless in order to feed that addiction?
I think that I don't think he chose to be homeless in order to feed the addiction. To be honest, I think he chose to be homeless, and the addiction, or the drug use rather, was just part of it because of the people that he was around.
So during this time, the time that Uriah took part in hurting people, was he the same Uriah that you knew and raised?
No, absolutely not. Uriah was never violent. Even whenever I found out about what happened, I was shocked. He's not a violent person. He was never in fights at school growing up. He never at all. He wasn't violent at home. He didn't punch walls. He was never like that, ever.
Now, since his incarceration, have you had contact with him, either through
Yes.
phone, video visits?
Yes.
And have you seen Uriah change over the course of the last year and a half?
Yes, other than just being understandably sad and depressed and lonely, as you would be in the situation that he's in, I got my son back. Became I could talk to him again. He could carry on and wanted to carry on a conversation with me. He was back to being my loving son again.
Now, if the judge grants Uriah deferred adjudication, okay, will he have a place to live?
Yes, he can live here with me.
So that would be in Florida.
Yes, sir.
And again, if he's granted deferred, there's probably going to be a lot of requirements of him, such as making appointments, being tested for substance abuse, probably doing some type of classes of community service.
Mhm.
Will you aid him in making sure he's complying with all of the requirements?
Absolutely. Yes. I work from home. Well, I am starting a home business. I'm an artist, so it's just crafting, but so I'm free to do that.
Will you help Uriah in getting employment?
Yes, absolutely.
Does he actually have a job waiting for him in Florida if he is granted probation?
Yes. My husband had spoken to but he told me, now this was a while back, that he sorry, my hand is cramping, that he could have an entry level position with my husband.
And what would he be doing?
Just computer work. I'm not really sure exactly what it is, but it would be just stuff on the computer. other than that, if that isn't still available, because he hasn't talked to his boss about it recently, then, you know, I would do whatever I needed to do to help him find a job. That would definitely be a priority.
And again, if Uriah is granted deferred adjudication, he's very likely going to have to make restitution to the victims of his cases. Would you help him make sure that he stays employed and he's making good on that debt?
I would do whatever I needed to do to help him do what he needed to do. Yes. My husband and I would, my mother and father would. I've already talked to them about it as well. My mother and stepfather also live here. That's why I moved here. And they're also supportive. So
that's a support structure that Uriah has there in Florida. Did he have all that here before when he chose to get lost in drugs?
He's always had me, but no, not really. Other than me, no.
But so now it's a bigger support structure waiting for him.
Yes, I would say so. But he also he won't know anybody here. Like nobody from, you know, anybody that he used to run with or know on the streets or anything. Like he won't know anybody here. So it would be a complete fresh start, you know, and as far as that goes, I think that would be a great help as well. And that's just my opinion, but yeah.
All right, Ms. Huffman. Thank you for your time. I'll pass the witness.
Defend, I'm sorry, state.
Thank you. Ms. Huffman, I'm Jason Garahan. I'm a prosecutor for the state of Texas.
Yes, sir. Hi.
Hi, nice to see you on Zoom here. I got the indication that you're, when Mr. Alexander was asking you some questions that, tell me if I'm wrong, but Uriah's violence towards other people was sort of a drug induced. Is that what you feel?
Yes, I think that it was drug induced and that and because of who he was with, more than anything.
I mean, you are aware that there's a evaluation, what we call a pre-sentence investigation, where your son stated that he denied consuming alcohol or drugs during the commitment of this offense of aggravated assault on an individual. Are you aware of that?
No, I'm not, but I know how methamphetamines work, and I know my son, and he wasn't the same person at that time.
Were you there?
Mentally.
Sorry.
No, I wasn't. I obviously wasn't there, but I talked to him often. Well, sometimes talked to him for a month or two, but I mean, I talked to him that day, the day that he got arrested, and I could hear it in his voice.
Did you know that if he actually didn't get arrested on the day of the offense?
No, well, no.
In his pre-sentence investigation, he said he did meth after the offense happened in the days following. You're not aware of that, are you?
No.
And are you aware of the victim's injuries in this case?
The victim's what?
Injuries.
Yes.
So you're aware that he lost an eye,
Yes.
his skull was crushed in,
Yes.
and that he was shot at more than once.
Not by my son. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter. Yes, I am. And it's a terrible thing. And I'm glad that he is alive.
You're also aware he was stabbed. Is that correct?
No, I wasn't aware of that part, but I mean, it doesn't make it any better or worse. It's all bad.
You realize also that he was hogtied with his arms
Yes.
and his behind him
Yes.
and put it in his own trunk. of his own car
Mhm.
and driven around and then dumped on the side of the road without many articles of his clothing, pretty much naked. Are you aware of that?
Yes,
Your son told you this?
no,
Okay, no further questions, John.
All right, any further questions? All right, you can call your next witness.
All
All right, can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand if you'll state your name for the record, please.
Uriah David Huffman.
All right, make sure you keep your voice up.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, defense.
Thank you, Your Honor. All right, Uriah, you had a chance to go over this PSI. I'll just start there. Right.
All right, you're gonna have to answer yes or no.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I believe you said there's a couple things you wanted to comment.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's just cut right to the chase about what happened to Joshua. He was here to go.
Yes, sir.
The PSI talks about you actually tying him up. Did you tell the probation officer you actually tied him up?
Probation officer?
That interviewed you for this? Did you tell them that you tied him up?
I don't believe so.
Okay. So as far as the tying up is concerned, because he was tied up, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, how did you participate? What was your active role?
I just got the rope.
Okay.
And I handed it to DK, or to Daryl. Sorry.
I'm sorry, could you speak up?
I got the rope and I handed it to Daryl.
Okay.
And that's your co-defendant in this case, who I believe you referred to as DK.
Yes, sir.
The PSI also talks about you putting Josh in the trunk of his
Yeah.
car.
Yes, sir.
Did you do that?
No, sir.
Did you tell probation you did that?
No, sir.
Did you drive his car away with him in it?
Yes, sir.
The PSI also talks about when you guys went and stopped somewhere in Atkins, and it makes it sound like you took part in the shooting. Like that you actively shot Joshua. Did you tell probation that?
No, sir. I mean, I told them that I was there, yes, but I never touched the gun. I never did anything like that.
Did you assist in removing Joshua from his trunk so that he could be shot?
I don't believe so, no.
Did you have a gun?
No, sir.
So are you the one that shot Joshua?
No, sir.
Who did shoot Joshua?
Daryl shot Joshua.
Now, you're not saying that you didn't participate in what happened to Joshua, are you?
No, I'm not saying that.
And I believe what's actually in the stipulated evidence is earlier that day, Joshua had actually hit you in the face with a guitar. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And so you made DK aware of this?
And whenever DK pulled up to the trailer, he asked me why I was bleeding, and I told him that Joshua hit me with a guitar.
Okay. Did you ask DK to do anything to Joshua?
No, sir. He walked in and started doing that on his own.
Okay. But once DK started doing things to Joshua, you made a choice, right?
Yes, sir.
You chose to go get the rope.
Yes, sir.
You chose to drive the car.
Yes, sir.
And you chose to plead guilty as opposed to no contest, right?
Yes, sir.
So probably the biggest question in the back of the judge's mind is, based on everything that happened to Joshua, okay, and what you did participate in,
Yes, sir.
why in the world should she give you probation and not just send you to prison?
Because I understand that it was wrong in not calling the cops and participating in any of it. And I believe that I can prove that that's not who I am, and that I'll be able to complete probation and pay back any kind restitution that goes to them, to Joshua.
Are you sorry for?
Yes, of course.
happened?
I'm sorry that all of it happened to him. He didn't deserve it, and I'm sorry to his family.
Well, they're right there. So you think maybe you should tell him and not us?
Of course, I'm very sorry that all of it happened to Joshua. If I could go back, I would have called the cops. I would have tried my best to convince DK not to do it. I'm very sorry.
You had an evaluation about your drug usage.
Yes, sir.
And I think it says in there you were using meth daily. Is that accurate?
Yes, sir.
Okay. DK wasn't just your friend, right?
What do you mean?
DK was selling that.
Yes, sir. He was, yeah,
And all the people you were associating with at the time, including Josh, you guys were all meth users, is that right?
yes, sir.
Again, if the judge takes a chance on it, that's a hard thing to shake. It was recommended that if you're granted probation, that you do inpatient therapy,
Yes, sir.
excuse me, rehab. Are you willing to do that and do what it takes?
Yes, sir.
No matter, because there's several programs the judge could choose from, some of which could take up to a year before you're ever released.
Mhm.
Are you willing to do that?
Yes, sir.
Are you asking the judge for a second chance despite your choices?
Yes, sir.
Tell her that, not me.
Yes, ma'am. I would. I hope that you'll give me the chance and opportunity to prove that, or to give me a probation and even the drug rehab program.
I'll pass it, Mr.
State.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Huffman, you said you didn't actually actively shoot. Mr. Pennell, right?
Yes, sir.
And you actively, I guess, grabbed a rope, handed it over to DK, which is Daryl King, right?
Yes, sir.
Daryl King's the one that shot Josh, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Who stabbed him?
I'm not aware.
You're not aware? You didn't have a knife?
No, sir.
You didn't have a knife.
No, sir.
And so the stab wounds, you don't know how that happened?
I'm aware that he got stabbed, but I don't
Who
know how.
stabbed him?
All right, I'm gonna need you to speak up.
I'm aware that he got stabbed, but I'm not aware of who stabbed him.
Was there anybody else?
Mm. Was there anybody else that could have stabbed him?
Mhm.
Yes.
Who?
I don't know his name. It was just a guy.
So you don't have the guy's name.
No, sir.
So this random guy that you don't know his name stabbed Josh. Is that what you're saying?
No.
So who
I'm
stabbed him?
saying that there was another guy that could have done it.
Could have done it. So you could have done it.
No, that's not what I'm saying. You asked me if there was anybody else.
Okay.
Yes, there was.
You were there.
Yes, sir.
You were there when he got put in the trunk.
Yes, sir.
You were there when he got tied up.
Yes, sir.
You're the one that drove the vehicle around, right? In a hot trunk. And you knew that this individual had been stabbed, beaten, and tied up.
No, at the time I did not know.
You
I
didn't know he
found
had
out,
been beaten?
no, that he'd been stabbed. I didn't find that out until I was already in jail.
Oh, so you didn't witness any stab wounds. You didn't see him bleeding before he got shot?
No, sir.
He wasn't bleeding before y'all shot him on the side of the road.
I didn't shoot him.
I
But
know, I said y'all, all parties in the state of Texas, if you're standing there, you're participating, and that doesn't mean you pulled the trigger, but you were there, right?
yes.
And
Yes,
you
sir.
left with DK, right?
Yes, sir.
Was he bleeding before you all shot him? Let's just say DK, I'm not gonna split peas with you. DK shoots him, you're standing next to DK. Was he bleeding before he was shot?
Yes,
Why was he bleeding?
yes, I assume he would, I can't tell you why he was bleeding. I'm sure
can't?
he got stabbed, but I don't know who stabbed him.
Did you hit him?
No,
You never hit Josh,
no, sir.
ever.
No, sir.
So DK did everything.
Yes, sir.
So DK stabbed him.
Okay, well, I don't know. I can't say for sure if DK stabbed him.
Okay. So he was bleeding before he was shot, right?
Yes, I mean, I
Hey,
believe I saw.
You were sober, you weren't doing drugs, you weren't drinking, right? That's what you told everybody in this packet. You weren't drinking and you weren't on meth the day this happened. You said it twice. So you were sober when this happened, right?
That is what that says, but I've already tried to tell my lawyer that I was using at that time.
At that time, were you using that day or not?
Yes,
So now that's something else that needs to be changed in this packet.
I thought that's what he said. I'm trying to.
I
make
don't
it
know,
clear
I'm
to
asking
him.
you.
Yes, that I was using drugs that day.
So these two items that say right here, it says defendant denied consuming alcohol and using drugs on the date of the instant offense. That means that offense that happened that we were just talking about. That's wrong.
I mean, yes, I did use drugs that day.
Okay. Before or after you all shot him?
So.
Sorry, I
Both?
can't hear you, sir.
Both?
So you're using drugs before and after Josh was shot,
I had used drugs before. Yes, and
that day.
yes, that day, yes, sir.
And then also right here, it says right here, I wasn't consuming alcohol or using drugs.
Yes, that's what my attorney through with me and I told him that that was wrong.
Okay, so now that part is wrong also. That you
Yes.
were using alcohol and drugs.
Not alcohol, but drugs. Yes.
Okay, all right. So you deny, well, okay, you do remember him being tied up, right? What you call hog-tied, right?
Yes, sir.
And he didn't have his clothes on, right?
Yes, sir.
Why didn't he have his clothes on?
Because they got taken off.
Who took them off?
DK.
And you just stood there?
Yes, sir.
Was he hog-tied at the time that the clothes were being taken off or not?
Yes, I believe so.
He was. And then when was he shot?
He was shot behind the car.
Behind the car? When he was on the ground,
Yes, sir.
bleeding, already been cut,
It was
already been
dark.
stabbed?
Yes.
Tell me this. What do you think had happened to him after he got shot?
He was laid on the side of the road.
Well, did you think he died?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is one step away from a murder, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So why do you deserve deferred adjudication on this case? Tell the court that. Why do you deserve it? Because you almost committed murder. You see the man right there with his face bashed in and he has his left eye's not there anymore? Why do you deserve deferred for that?
Can't honestly say that I don't.
Thank
Or
you.
that I do.
Thank you. No further questions.
Defense, any other questions?
And I apologize, right? I did forget to ask you, we discussed it before, so. Did you want to clarify with the court, you were using drugs that day,
Yes.
but you weren't drinking?
No, I was not drinking.
You knew what was going on, Joshua. Right? As the events are unfolding, you know what's going on.
Yes, sir.
You could have done something, right?
Yes, sir.
Why didn't you?
I wasn't in the right state of mind. I just been hit with a guitar. So I wasn't thinking clearly. DK, he told me to get the rope. He told me to do this, and I chose to listen to him. Whenever I should have told him that, no,
What gave DK so much power over you that you
it's not that he had.
listened to him?
It's not that he had power. It's just that I don't know. He's a very intimidating person, and
Is DK a little man or a big man?
he's a big dude.
Did you ever know DK to be violent?
He always got what he wanted. Yes,
Or DK was the one holding the gun?
yes, sir.
Yeah, we need to make it clear that you understand. Okay. Even though you're saying you're not the one that shot Joshua. You're unclear who stabbed him. You helped, and the law says you're just as guilty.
Yes, sir.
You get that?
Yes, sir.
Despite that, are you asking the court for a chance to prove that you can change and you can be a productive member of society?
Yes, sir.
No question.
All right, any other witnesses?
No, ma'am.
Any other witnesses from the state?
Nothing to say, John.
All right, with regards to the restitution amount, is there agreed upon restitution or no?
No, Judge. And if I can address that, we've been provided nothing as far as what these amounts come from. And so I believe, despite if there's proof that we provided, he owes it, he owes it. I mean, but I think we need to have a restitution hearing on that. When it comes to the victim in the instant case. Mr. Lavario, who is the complainant in the UMV case that's being TIC'd. Again, it's a very big number he's alleging with no proof. I will also point out that in the discovery given to us by the state, Uriah is found in this gentleman's stolen pickup, and there are no tools there. He's not found with them or anything. There's also some conflicting statements that he gave, so I would require a restitution hearing on that one as well. But again, whatever he owes, that proof's provided, he owes.
All right, this is what the court will do. The court is going to deny your application, find you guilty, sentence you to 12 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served. There's a $5,000 fine, time and money will run concurrent. Take in consideration 2022 CR 7208, 2022 CR 7210. I can order the therapeutic community It'll be up to them whether or not they place you in the therapeutic community. I absolutely have no jurisdiction over that. So if you would like, I could put that in the order.
Yes, ma'am.
There's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon. There's to be restitution, if any, and no contact with Joshua Sandoval and Ramon Lavario. Going to show you what's inside titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we can go off the record. I know that 12 years is a lot of time. Honestly, anytime you do, whether it's at the Bear County Jail or wherever it's at the prison, that's a lot of time. But I did internalize everything that was said. I listened to all of the witnesses. If you have a drug or alcohol problem, you need to use this time away to get your life in order, to concentrate on what improvements you want to make so you don't be back here. The complainant in this case has permanent injuries, and those injuries will never go away. You can go to jail, do your time, get your life in order. You can even get a college degree at the jail. And I could be wrong, but I don't even think they have to pay for the degree. So you can get a free degree at the jail and work on yourself, figure out how you got in this situation and not put yourself in this situation again. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Is there a victim impact?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Good luck to you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Judge. Maybe we excuse